Alright, so this is and being left behind. I dreamt the rapture. Abba Jesus came flying on the clouds in golden glory, suddenly and all at once. We were in a classroom. I don't remember what we were doing in the classroom. All I remember is that it just happened suddenly. I looked out and, well, the classroom had no roof. So I looked out and there came like a flying procession on the clouds. Like if somebody was coming with a castle on the clouds. It was that glorious. Everything was glorious. Golden blues and purples and all these colors just flashing from it. It was like a diamond in the sun kind of thing. So at a distance I looked and I knew that it was him. So I said, Abba Jesus is coming. Within a couple of seconds he was closer than I thought. So it was over us and he was going. He was like if something's floating by like that. And just for like a mere second. Just not even pausing almost. And when where the class was, the roof wasn't there. He came right over us. And I'm like, Abba! Abba Jesus! And I'm shouting to the top of my lungs. And he did not even budge. He did not look. He was just there for his people. He was there for those who were ready. People were shooting up from the class straight into the clouds to him. And we weren't. And I was like, Abba! Abba! I don't know if I was even screaming in my sleep. I don't know. It might have been. But I dreamt the rapture of Jesus came flying on the clouds in golden glory with hundreds of thousands of angels snatching up people. And we were left behind. I was left behind even though I called out to him. I wasn't ready. I wasn't even married. I was in a state of confusion because I was calling out to him and he was just ignoring. Tribulation with the forcing and the enforcing of the mark of the Beast stage 2, which was the was starting, and it was known some of us would have to die, would be killed for refusing to deny his namesake as God. We were in a class about 30 people and only 13 got taken. It was as if he was passing by in mere seconds and minutes all over the earth. And people were just being shot up. People were just being grabbed up, snatched up in golden glory. People saw it. And I remember that in the class there were golden curtains that were hanging all around, and someone near me. But the class had no roof, so the curtains were like going all the way up, very, very tall. But when the rapture happened, when the snatching up happened, it's like if those curtains vanished and you were just seeing golden beams of light flashing straight into the sky. Everybody was going up, around the earth. And it was like from this class, I could see the earth. It was glorious from what I could remember. Like a diamond, like if you put a diamond in the sun with gold. His face was shining, but faced out, like he was giving the angels orders. He didn't listen to cries and calls. He didn't listen to Abba, Jesus. He didn't listen. He just come for his people that was ready. It was made in such a way that I was shown a class that I would have been in high school. And out of that class of people, there were all sorts. Out of that class of people, there were the very, very shy and meek and quiet people that were missing in the class. And we realized they had been snatched up. Where I was, you could see the whole earth, just with flashes of gold going up, so fast. In mere minutes it was over. The entire earth was harvested. All we had to do was wait. It was like if I knew. He said some people would die for his glorious God, be beheaded. And I knew what was coming next was the zombie apocalypse, which is what I heard clear as day, and an alien invasion, which are demons. When it was over, it was over. It was over in a flash. It was like if he'd take up all his people and that was it. Boom, like it never happened. It just disappeared. All you had the evidence of was people were gone. And it was all around the earth. I do remember if there were news streams going out, but I do remember that people in the class started to realize and recognize that people in the class was missing, and then there was chaos, and then all we knew we had to do was block up all the entrances, the doors, the windows, because those things that I mentioned before were coming. The zombie apocalypse, the alien invasion, it was coming, and it was no longer a theory. It was no longer something that was just, we thought of. It was coming. And we were made to stand in it. I dreamt some other things as well. But the hopelessness when it was over. Like, it was just like, before you were expecting to be caught up. And you were like basically hoping for the rapture so we didn't have to go through these things. And then all of a sudden it was over. it was over. There was no expecting Abba Jesus to come and snatch us up. There was no expecting us to just be rescued. You're going to have to go through it. And he said it so plain that some of you will die for my name's sake as God. And I was one. I knew that I was going to be beheaded. That's as far as I can remember. So we got busy to boarding up the doors and the windows and preparing for the zombie apocalypse, which is what people are going to turn into, eating human flesh. And the alien invasion, which are actually demons, the Nephilim and all of that coming. The earth was in a chaos from the class. The state of the class was like the earth, from what I can gather. Class that I was in was like the earth. All different kinds of people in there. All different kinds of things. There were 2 other dreams. One was like a warning that I'm being monitored by my enemy. And the other one was a Chinese restaurant where we gone to buy food. And the lady that was serving, she was counting the grains of rice on the plate. She was counting the rice. And it's like we bought the most that you could buy. And there was just like this little portion of vegetables. And she's waiting for you to choose a piece of meat or something. And there was this guy who walked in, who was like a chef or somebody working there. And he was like the master. He said it so plainly. The master. The master requires you at the back or something like that. The master. He said it so plainly, the master. I heard that, so it rung out in my ears, the master. And the lady, she just looked and she nodded, kind of. And she said, are you going to choose the rest of what you want? But I was so hungry that I was eating already from the food. And there was like this old woman where people had to check out. She sat there with the Bible and she was like touching people. It was weird. When they checked out with the food, she was touching people. And she said Malachi. At first she was saying something else, but she said Malachi. When I was leaving, Malachi, when she touched me. And she said it so sternly, Malachi. And it was Malachi 4. So it seemed like the Chinese were taking over the economy. Mom's husband was also in that dream, and he was like monitoring the whole family thing, and it was just weird. It was weird. I knew it was a warning. This is the second recollection of the Rapture dream. When I'm ready, like when I'm dressed and I'm ready, I'll just come on and I'll do the other one. I'll try to go in very, very deep detail. Because in my dream I could see Abba Jesus. I could see I could see him in glory standing there, but he wasn't even looking. That hurt. That was like our only hope just looked away because we weren't ready. We weren't ready. 13 taken. 17 left. The parables of the wise virgins. Some trimmed their lamps and they filled them up with oil and walked with extra oil so that when it got darker, more evil than it is, you could actually know what's God and what's not. And the 5 foolish, or the other half, just didn't bother. They just ran out of oil and couldn't tell what was God and what was not, and just accepted everything and just got left behind when the bridegroom came suddenly. Because that's exactly how it happened, suddenly, just within mere moments. It was over. The next time you look up in a cloud and you look up at the sky and you see it just passing by, I want you to remember that that's how fast this is going to happen. Like this. Abba, Jesus! Abba! Stop for a moment. Abba! Screaming out your lungs. Abba! And that's it, it's over. I'm going to go until later and I'm come back to share something else. Okay, second recollection.